Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. My pronouns are asking for way too much money, and my amateur nouns are uncoachable. The comedy show that you're about to watch, Psycomedy 101, The Jokes Less Traveled, was put together from the recorded performances of multiple 90-minute shows. Only about 80% of the material was the same in every show, leading us to weave together different jokes, stories, and rants from different performances to make this video one complete show. We did our best to recreate the authentic GD Fenderson experience. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you enjoy Psycomedy 101, The Jokes Less Traveled.
Please welcome to the stage the man of the evening, GD Fenderson!
I'm a professional comedian. Professional is from the Latin, to profess, to proclaim out loud, and chenal, as in chenal ain't got any money. I just told you I'm a professional comedian. Now, a lot of people ask me, where do I get the courage to do something like this, to talk in front of people, to try to make them laugh? You know, and aren't you nervous? Aren't you scared? I say, yes, I'm nervous. I'm nervous every single time I do this. Every single time I get up here and I try to make people laugh, I get nervous. But I have a very, very supportive wife, and every time she sees that I get nervous, Penny says, relax, and remember, the audience is on your side. They want to laugh with you. And then Penny continues, and Penny says, so, if you make a mistake, just lean into it, because they don't know your material. For example, my wife's name is Carol, not Penny. You didn't know that. I get to do this because I have a great wife and a really good marriage, but it's in trouble right now. And it's in trouble right now not because I did anything wrong, because I never do anything wrong. I'm a husband. What would I do wrong? But I'm going to tell you what happened. But I want to keep the identities of other people secret. So I need a man's name and a woman's name. So someone can help me. A man's name? Billy. Okay, and a woman's name? Sophia. Okay, we got that. Billy and Sophia, okay. My wife Carol and Sophia are childhood friends. I mean, they've known each other since they were like little. And they've known each other forever. They're really close. They've known each other for a very long time. Well, 20 years ago, Sophia meets Billy. They get married. But now, when Carol and Sophia hang out, Billy is a third wheel. And so he sits around really bored. They're having fun, and he's not. Well, 18 years ago, I meet Carol. And Carol and Sophia have this great idea that since they are best friends, me and Billy should be best friends. What could go wrong? But they're clever about how they did it. Carol says to me, to warm me up, she wants me to meet Billy, but she does it like she's setting up a blind date. You and Billy would get along great. You're just alike. You're so much alike. You know, he cares about the planet, and you care about the planet. Okay, you can have two people both care about the planet, but just not want to be part of each other's world. He's funny. You're funny. You can have two people who are both funny, but not think that each one is funny. They can enjoy each other's company. His last name is Henderson. Your last name is Fenderson. Basing relationships on what your last name sound is not like a great idea either. I mean, I know someone who has the exact same last name as me, and my brother hates me. So having a same last name does not mean there's going to be a good relationship. My wife says, he's Mensa and you're Mensa. Well, my Mensa status is very questionable. See, my first marriage to a young lady named Marcia, and I'll mention her again later, but only with extreme agony. I'll mention her again later. Once I married her, I got a letter in the mail from the people at Mensa, and they say, we're revoking your membership because apparently you're not as smart as we thought you were. Now, having two guys that belong to Mensa meet is like having two guys who are both porn stars meet. There's going to be a little competition because they're both a little insecure. It's like, okay, who's got the bigger IQ? And you have two porn stars meeting. It's like the fortune cookie says. A penis is like a password. The longer and harder it is, the more secure you feel in bed. It's a fortune cookie. So Carol says to me, you know, Billy's IQ is 165. What's your IQ? 150. 150? I thought it was bigger. Size doesn't matter. It's not the size of your IQ. It's the notions you're emoting that count. So, but they're so confident that Billy and I will get along that the first time we meet is for a 3-day weekend, a long weekend, just the four of us. What could go wrong? Nothing. I love Billy. We're like brothers. It was almost like we were soulmates. It was like my mom had him 500 miles away, and we're brothers that just finally got to meet. And it was just beautiful. It was just this wonderful thing. And Billy and I were like great. He was like my brother. We'd like talk on the phone. We'd share ideas, and we talk all kinds of crazy, stupid, high IQ people shit that nobody else gets except for me, him, and maybe Stephen Hawking. Not anymore. He doesn't get much anymore. He doesn't even return my calls. So everything is great. Then a couple of weeks ago, Carol gets a phone call. Hi, Carol. Hey, hi, Sophia, what's up? Oh, nothing. Billy and I are getting a divorce. Now I have to divorce Billy. I can't stay friends with Billy now because the only reason why I was friends with Billy is because he was married to Sophia. And the only reason why I know about Sophia is because she is best friends with Carol. And if Billy and Sophia break up, then Billy and I have to break up, and Carol and Billy have to break up. It's just terrible. Look what he did to our relationship. So the biggest problem with that is that once that happened, Carol began to get a little bit suspicious of me. I'm like, what did I do? She goes, did you know he was cheating? I said, no, I didn't know. She says, you two talk all the time. You're so close. I said, yeah, but I didn't know he was cheating. She goes, are you cheating? I said, no. What made you think I was cheating? Well, the two of you are so much alike. And whose idea was it to introduce us? So I get a text from Sophia, and it says, can I call you? I want a man's perspective on this. It's like, I don't want to get in the middle of this. You can't text me, no. I mean, no, you will not, you can't call me about, ask Carol, because, yeah, I'll talk to her, sure. So she calls me. Here's the thing is, she doesn't need my perspective. She already has a man's perspective, her husband. That's a man, that we know what his perspective is. So she calls. Carol says, put her on speaker. I said, no. It's bad enough that you're going to hear my answers. You don't need to hear her questions, too. So Sophia begins telling the whole story about all the stuff that I really don't want to know about my brother. And she says, well, 20 years ago when he first cheated, I went, what now? 20 years ago. And what did you do? Oh, nothing. I thought he'd change. Okay. If you let somebody do something for 20 years, they're not cheating. Those are the rules. Cheating is when you change the rules because you're losing, like an election. cheating. She's cheating. She's changing the rules. She let him do something for 20 years. It's like, no, I'm tired of it. You stop. Or we get divorced. It's like, okay. So, those are the rules. And I know a little bit something about rules because, see, my first marriage to Marcia, we were friends with another couple. See, being friends with other couples just, I guess, seems to just get people in trouble, I suppose. We're friends with another couple, a guy I used to play basketball with, a guy named Tommy. He left his jersey at the gym after a game. I brought it home, I washed it, I folded it, and I set it there for him to pick up a couple days later. He pulls up, and he's in a Corvette, which I didn't know he owned, and he has a woman in the car who's not his wife. Now, his wife and my wife are friends. He and I are friends. The kids were friends. We used to hang out together once in a while. And so when he pulls up like this, unannounced with another woman, I'd run out to greet him because I did not want Marcia to see him. And so I run out and go, what the fuck are you doing bringing her here? He goes, it's okay, it's okay. Dee and I have an open marriage. I was like, okay, yeah, I know you have an open marriage, but Marcia doesn't have an open mind. You're about to get me in a whole shitload of trouble. Now, like I said, I knew they had an open marriage. Everybody on the team knew they had an open marriage. And in order for their open marriage to work, they had rules. 4 rules. The first rule is that they don't sleep with each other's friends. The second rule is that they use protection at all times. The third rule is that you don't bring your side piece around the kids, which is a good rule if you have guns also. You don't bring the side piece around the kids. And the fourth rule was that you don't bring that stuff in the house. You don't soil the marriage bed. Those are their rules. Your rules may vary. But there should be a 5th rule. And that 5th rule should be, you don't bring your side piece around your married friends' homes because now they have to answer for your behavior. And I didn't want to answer for Thomas's behavior. I had enough time answering for my own. Now, like I said, I knew about their open marriage. I was at a party with Thomas and Dee. It was a Mike Tyson fight. The night that Evander Holyfield got his ears bitten by Mike Tyson. It was that night. Now y'all know where I was. I was with Tommy and Dee. So if the police ever ask you, where was GD that night? You can say, well, he was at a party with Tommy and Dee. And so I have witnesses now. I have witnesses. You're my witnesses that I was there. And Dee starts hitting on me. I said, Dee, this isn't right. She goes, I have an open marriage. I said, I know. And the first rule of your open marriage is you don't screw each other's friends. She goes, oh, that's okay. Thomas doesn't like you anyway. So present day, Carol, Sophia, and myself were hanging out. We've divorced ourselves from Billy. Sad. So now I'm the third wheel. And Sophia says, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to meet anybody else again. I don't know. I don't know. So Carol, being Carol, tries to build up her spirits and go, what are you talking about, girl? You're attractive, you're smart, you have a good job, you're nice. You'll find somebody else. Any man would be great to have you. And she's like, Glenn, you date her, right? Okay. I don't know what the right answer is, but I know what all the wrong answers are. And that would be anything I say out my mouth. Sure, I could say, yeah, sure, I date her. Then her response would be like, oh, how long have you been thinking about that? Or I could say, no, I wouldn't date her. And Carol would say, why are you so cruel? You can't say yes just to make her feel better? Or I could be cute. I could be a comedian and say, oh, sure, maybe before the breast reduction. Okay, again, not a great answer, but I think it's funny. See, And I understand why she got a breast reduction. I understand. See, my mom was big-chested. My mother was well-endowed. She was a 36 double G. I don't know what size he was. I can't speak for him because he was always wearing those loose-fitting clothes. And that could be why he was dressed like that, because he was ashamed of his man tits, 36 double G. You can't be a messiah and be that bussum, unless you're going to feed the masses. Maybe that's how he did it. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. I see. That's how I went over last time, too. I just thought, okay, thank you. My mother was well-endowed, and back then, well-endowed was a punishment because bras were made out of, I think, iron. They were all pointed like they were missiles. And my mother could not leave the house without notifying NORAD so that they could notify the military that there were not warheads walking down the streets of Baltimore. I mean, I used to listen to my mother all the time complain about how the straps were digging into her shoulders and how her posture was being affected. I understand all that, so I know why a woman who is amply endowed would want to get a reduction. I get why. I don't get when. Okay, eventually, sure, they would have become knee pads. I got it, I understand. But she had a good 4 or 5 years of motorboating left in her. I'm just saying. So it was like a preemptive strike that could have saved their marriage. I don't know, because when I never talked, I was like, oh, Billy. Billy and I never talked about that kind of stuff. Okay. So I get it. I understand. But now my brother and I are separated. We're divorced. I'm divorced with him. And it's kind of rough. But anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where it is. That's where I'm right now. And the thing is, it made Carol a little bit suspicious of me. So it's like I can't go anywhere, do anything without her wondering, what is he doing now? Because Billy started cheating on the internet. So it's like, are you going into? Where are you going? I'm going to the bathroom. By yourself? Yeah, by myself. You taking your phone? Yeah, I'm taking my phone. Why are you taking your phone to the bathroom? I said, because when I'm sitting on the toilet, I like to play solitaire. By yourself? Yeah, I play solitaire by myself. That's solitaire. Where are you going? Going to the basement. What are you going to do in the basement? I'm going to be hanging the blinds that we just bought. You want me to come downstairs to help you? Sure, you can come down and get in my way if you want, which I never said. I never. But I can't go anywhere. I can't leave the house without her wondering, where am I going? Without me telling her first. It's like, okay, I want to go to the store, but I can't just go to the store. If I go to the store, I have to take the cat and the kid because that way she knows I'm not stopping somewhere and I'm going to come right back. The problem is, we don't have a kid. I have to go next door. Hey, Keith, Kathy, can I borrow one of your kids? It doesn't matter which one, the girl, the boy, doesn't matter. I just want to borrow one of your kids. I'm sorry. Didn't know. That's why we had to move from the last neighborhood. No, the thing is, this is, again, here we go again. Side note, don't improvise, but I'm going to do it anyway. When my wife and I moved into the neighborhood, we were very careful about picking a good neighborhood. We wanted to raise our cats in a good neighborhood. We didn't want them around a bunch of riffraff. So we picked this neighborhood, and it's a beautiful neighborhood, and the neighbors it was like an autumn day, and the neighbors out, and they're all sharing and talking to each other, and we see that's good. The only problem is, you see them all getting along, and you move in, you wonder, are we going to be the asshole neighbors? Everybody else is going to be like, the neighborhood was really good until they moved in. And I didn't want us to be that neighbor. I was afraid about that, but we're not. We're not the asshole neighbors because we don't talk to anybody. So they don't know we're assholes. I'm not talking to them. So I didn't mean to go there because but the thing is, she's gotten a little bit suspicious. She thinks I have secrets. And I don't have secrets from my wife. I really don't. The only thing she needs to worry about is that she's the only person I'm sleeping with. I'm doing the best I can when I do that. doing the best I can. But I don't have any secrets from her. I have things I don't tell her. There's a difference. A secret is something you will carry to your grave. You don't want anybody to know. You know, like that I used to go to my neighbor's house to try to borrow his kids. That would be like a secret that you don't want anybody else to know. Stuff I don't tell her is stuff I don't care if she finds out, like I accidentally kissed my best friend on the mouth and we giggled like girls, okay? It's not a secret. It's just that I don't go around telling her, yeah, Doug and I kissed once. It was no big deal. It was an accident. And we giggled because we thought it was funny. Nothing more. So, but we don't talk about that. And it's not because I'm ashamed or it's a secret. It's just that I don't feel like answering questions about how it happened. So y'all went skinny dipping together. Well, yeah, we used to go skinny dipping all the time. That's what guys did when they got drunk. They took off their clothes and they went skinny dipping. There's nothing unusual about that. Don't all guys do that? Get drunk, take off their clothes, and go swimming together? It's normal. Like I said, it's no secret. I'm just not telling her. So if my friends come over and tell her, that's fine. I don't care. I'm like, tell her. Show her. Get up the video. I don't care. I'm just not telling her. Now, I am a little bit disheartened over the fact that we met so late in life, because we could have had more years together, and we don't. We met, well, let's put it this way. When we met, I was in my 40s, and my best love-making years were behind me. Okay, my best love-making years were in my 20s and 30s. That's when the knowledge and the skill all kicked in together. And the problem is, I didn't know her then, and the women that I knew back then are not part of my life anymore, so they can't vouch for how good I was. You know, they can't say, oh, he was great. No, and even if they could, my wife said, how good that does me. I don't need to know how great he was 10 years before we met. So I'm a little disappointed that we met that late in life, because if I could, I would take all of that good sex back from them and give it to her. I would, because they're gone, they're out of my life, but she's in my life, and I think she deserves the best parts of me, which happened back then. But, now I'm not saying that I'm a slouch. I still have some potential. I'm like a wooden roller coaster, okay? I can still give you a thrill. I just need a little assist from gravity. And so you just have to be patient with me. Click, 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 click. Oh! Yeah, baby. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Left. No, you're left. Oh, fell out. Oh, here we go, baby. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Woo. Woo. What a ride. Whew. We got to do that again next week. Let's get our pictures. Little side note, I hate to disappoint you, I don't do dick jokes. I don't do dick jokes. I do penis commentary with the humorist bent, usually to the left. And I say that because my wife and I, we met in our later years. We had both been married. We had both had, different sexual partners, because I know she had at least one because she has a kid, okay? But what we did before we got married, that's no big deal. It's nobody's business. So I don't care if she slept with one man or 100 men before we met. I don't care. It's none of my business. The only thing that I wonder about is if you laid the penises end to end, how long would it be? And how many of mine would fit in there without a remainder, so I could have a nice whole number. And she doesn't need to know how many women I've been with, because you can't, well, first of all, you can't lay vaginas end to end. They're more like cups. So It's like volume. You know, volume, 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 like, which is the slogan of any good marketing strategy. Volume, volume, volume. Now, I admit, I'm getting a little older. And the one thing about my plumbing is, like, when I was younger, I was like municipal water. You know, nice strong stream, and you could spray it anywhere you want it. Didn't matter. There was more where that came from. And I got a little older, in my 40s and 50s, and I was like well water. I can still get you wet. It's just not as much force, not as much pressure. Now I'm a lot older, and I'm like fetching water with a bucket from the river. I can fill your tub. It's just going to take a few trips. Now, something unusual happened to me the other day, a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact. And I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, something unusual happened to me. And what it was is, there was a woman of whiteness had approached me, and she wanted to touch my hair. And she literally, it was after a show, and because right after, you see a show and your first instinct is, I want to touch your hair. I mean, obviously. It's like, and you're all going to want to do it. And it's okay, I'll stand out there and I'll take pictures while you're touching my hair, it's fine. I'm used to it now, I used to be a stripper, I'm used to it. So, and she says, can I touch your hair? And I said, sure. And she's looking at my hair and she's like, wow. And then she looked at my skin and goes, oh my goodness. She says, how old are you? I said, well, I was born in 1959. You can do the math. If you can't, I'm 42. And she says, with all sincerity, black doesn't crack. I said, you're right, it doesn't. But my bones are white. And those motherfuckers are cracking all the time. I said, as a matter of fact, if you listen right now, you can hear those little crackers going, like, especially in my right, you can hear them. And the only reason why it was unusual because it happened a couple of weeks ago, and usually it happens in February, when everybody has permission to touch black people's hair. Now, there was this thing called COVID. I don't know if you heard of it. It's gone now. But the worst thing about COVID for me was when I went into the market and there was wet pet food shortages, dog food, cat food in cans. None. Now, I don't know what you know about animals. I don't know if you're an animal lover or not. I don't know. But animals used to be wild, and they used to eat meat. And if you think about it, we are just meat. And if you don't give them their food, we will become their next meal. I mean, and this is how it happens, okay? You may not realize this. Statistically speaking, 27 dogs every year accidentally shoot their owners. And you hear about all the time, dog shooters that they were hunting and the dog accidentally shot his master, okay? And you know why that happens? After all this time, dogs are so domesticated, they can't hunt without guns either. But cats, they maintain that part of themselves. Cats can still, well, they'll eat you in your sleep. There's no gentle way of putting it. It's not like they'll kill you in your sleep. They're not savages, okay? They won't tear you apart. They'll cross your face and smother you. And then they'll eat you, starting with the soft parts. So when we saw that there was no wet cat food in the store, we began to panic because we only had like a week's worth left for those cats. And so we said, okay, well, we'll start looking around. We started experimenting, trying to get them to like something else. I mean, they only eat fancy feasts, gravy lovers, turkey and chicken flavor. That's it. That's what they eat, nothing else. So I got little Friskies, chicken chunks and gravy. I brought it home, put it in their little thing, and I smash it up so it looks just like the other stuff. Tastes the same to me. There you go. Ali was the first one to look at the food. Ali was short for Muhammad Ali Cat. He looks at it, and he looks at me, and he goes, for those of you who do not speak cat, that's fuck you. And I didn't know that before COVID. Thank you. Okay? Elsie, you gonna try this? It's just like the other stuff. Elsie, try it. Elsie is short for Lucky Cat Found in Woods. When we found her in the woods, see, Lucky Cat Found in Woods, she was starving, she was limping, she could barely walk, and she was barely surviving on insects. Because there were other cats in the woods they would not let her eat because they wanted her to be the next meal. So they were slowly starving her, not realizing that it wouldn't be as marbled, but that's okay. And Carol sees her out there, she goes, you have to do something. I'm like, you want me to put her out of misery? She says, no! You have to feed her. Okay, so we rescued her. And took months and months and months. But now, she went from only surviving on insects to only eating fancy feast, gravy lovers, turkey and chicken. That's it. So when I put that down, Elsie looks at it and she goes, Now, those of you who've had kids know that sometimes kids have trouble eating everything that you put on a plate. And so you have to say things to them. When I was a kid, my mother had anecdotes she used to say to me to get me to try new foods. And it turns out that cats do not give a shit about starving kittens in Africa. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, it's a little husky. This isn't my real voice. This is my recovered from COVID from 2 weeks ago voice. And I'm going to keep hydrating. Sorry about that. I apologize in advance. So now we're desperate to find food for the cats. We have to find what they eat. So I wind up walking the streets looking for cat food. Now there are a lot of moms out there who are going to be doing the same thing, trying to find Similac and Enfamil. It's going to be like junkies. You're going to be like walking to dark alleys, like I did. I'm going, excuse me, hey, you got any cat food? You a cop? No, I'm not a cop. Let me see your arms. There, see, I have a cat. Okay, I can help you. You go around the corner to the Giant Eagle, aisle 17. They got what you're looking for. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. You need any drugs? No, I'm good. Similac, need Similac? No, I'm good, just the cat food. Do me a favor, and don't mention my name in your sketch. No problem, Tommy. Tell Dee I said hi. Papa didn't like me anyway. So, like I said, the COVID thing, it's all behind us, kind of. I'm a little bit hoarse, and it's left its remnants of COVID. I had it, and I gave it to my wife, but thank goodness we're both vaccinated and boosted, and all the other things that you can do all the other precautions you can take. So it hit us hard, but it only hit us for a couple of days. But that was the second time my wife had it. Yeah, she'd had it once before. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in the kitchen cooking dinner because I'm a good husband. And she comes in that kitchen, she comes home from work, and she looks like shit. But I'm a good husband, I don't tell her that. I'm a good husband. I just said, instead of saying you look like shit, I said, how was your day? Huh? How was your day? And she says, I don't feel good. I don't feel good at all. I feel terrible. And then she kissed me on the lips. as if to say, if I go, you go. And then she goes to bed. She wakes up a few hours later and she has a temperature of 101. And a couple days later, she has a fever of 103. And she has the body aches. And she has all, the body aches, the pain, and she has these like colored blotches all over her legs and body. Sorry, African American blotches all over her legs and body. And after 7 days, I'm really concerned, and I don't want to go to work because I'm afraid of what will happen while I'm at work. I don't know if I'd come home and find her alive or dead. To be honest, I was that scared. I mean, if I go to work and I come home and she's dead, then I know the cats will have already started eating the soft parts. Or I could come home and she's alive, but she's so weak that she can't get the cats off her face, so that they can finish her off and eat the soft parts. And so I was concerned, and said, you should go to a doctor. And Carol goes, I don't like doctors. I'm fine. I'm tough. Actually, what she said was, I'm wicked tough. She's from Maine. I'm wicked tough. So I'm concerned, and I start to prepare in the event that she doesn't make it. Because this is early in COVID, and nobody really knows what to expect. You know, what kind of pre-existing conditions that could be the thing that push you over. Like her pre-existing condition is she has me for a husband. I don't know that she wants to fight through that, so she can stay with me. I don't know. But I'm preparing for the worst. And Carol wants to be cremated. So I want to cremate her. And the thing is, she's lived her life over 3 states. The bulk of her life was spent in Maine, where she grew up, where her family is, where her son is, friends. That's where the bulk of her life is. Then there's Maryland, where we've spent most of our marriage and life together. And Florida, where we spent a little time together and she wants to retire. So I have to have 3 services for her because she has relationships and friends in all 3 states. So I have to drag her ash up and down the East Coast. And when we're done, we'll just put her in the Gulf, which is where she wants to be. Just put her ashes in the Gulf. Now, she recovered. It took a while, and she got a full recovery, and the fever went away, the body aches went away. It took a few weeks, but the colored blotches, so African American blotches, went away. Just took a little longer, and she made a full recovery. And I was happy. I was really happy that I didn't have to use those plans and break in another wife. I'm sorry, I'm set in my ways. I can't, it's bad enough that I have to introduce a wife to 2 cats that may not want her either. Excuse me, here's your new Elsie. So I was happy that I got to keep my wife, and I was really happy that I didn't have to explain to the police why there was a dead white woman in my bed, and she's not a hooker. Now, but I understand why Carol is reluctant to see the doctor. A lot of people have issues with going to see a doctor, and I understand why. See, a lot of people, they treat their doctors like booty calls. They only call their doctor like once every 3 years when something's up. They don't have a relationship with their doctor. It's like, hey, yeah, I know it's been a while. Yeah, can you see me tonight? Hello? Me, I have a good relationship with my doctor. I auditioned my doctor before I got my doctor. See, because I have needs and wants and understandings, and I know what I like. I prefer a female doctor. And part of that is because they're going to be putting their hands in places where most people don't get to put their hands. And if it's a woman doctor, I can at least pretend there's something else going on. If it's a guy doctor, and if I like it, I have to figure out 2 things. One, am I going to like it all the time, or is it just with him? And if he's that good, why is he only a doctor and not doing something like making money on the internet, OnlyFans? I'm just saying. But with a woman doctor, at least I can pretend there's something, I can say, okay, we're good. I like this. But when I call to audition and I'm looking for a doctor, I can't just say, hi, yeah, I'm G.D. Fenderson, I'm looking for a new doctor. Yeah, I'd like a female doctor, please. Why do I want a female doctor? Okay, I can't tell them what I just told you. I have to tell them the other truth that I also believe. And that is that if you have a woman with the same credentials as a man, you know that she worked twice as hard to get those credentials than that man did. And if she's an attractive woman, she worked 3 times harder because she wants to be appreciated for the A's that she got on her exam and not the C's that she has on her chest. So when I tell them why I want a female doctor, I say, I know because she had to work harder to get to where she is. And they appreciate that because they know. And then I ask them a follow-up question. How big are her hands? I know what I like. Coming up in a couple of weeks is a holiday, Juneteenth. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. For those who are not familiar with Juneteenth, it is the Independence Day of the African American community. It is the day when that commemorates the last day of slavery, when the last slaves were actually freed. That's what Juneteenth is. Not a lot of people know about that. And you know why? Because it's not a drinking holiday. All of our really good ethnic holidays are drinking holidays. St. Patrick's Day for the Irish. Cinco de Mayo for the Hispanics, Latinos, Latinas, Latins, Latinx, and July 4th for white people. I'd say for white people because my people weren't free. So, but those are drinking holidays, and the reason why Juneteenth is not famous is because it doesn't have an alcohol sponsor. If I say St. Patrick's Day, you immediately can think of, Guinness, thank you, Killian and Jameson, right? You have product to go behind that holiday. If I say Cinco de Mayo, you know some, yes, tequila, Cuervo, Dos Equis, okay? They have sponsorship. That's why they're popular. And July 4th has wild turkey, fireworks, and first aid. Because nothing says freedom like explosives, alcohol, and hospitals. And that's what's missing from Juneteenth. It needs an alcohol sponsor. Yeah, okay, well, we have February. Let's not fuck February. You know why? Because February it was meant to, I don't even know what it was meant to be, and I'm black. I'm sorry. But I know that by February 4th, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the commercials pretending that these people who are just really all they want is money are interested in actually advancing any kind of cause or any kind of unity or any kind of understanding of what we need to be in this country, which is like a homogenous people. They don't care. All they want is money. So in February, a product in January and March, which just be called Trojans, well, in February, they're the Wilt Chamberlain condom. Guard your post like a champion. January and March, they're called vibrators. But in February, they're the Magic Johnson dildo. January and March, it's shoe polish. But in February, it's the Rachel Dolezal Homegirl Home Kit. All they care about is money. They don't care about bringing us together. And that's what I care about, bringing everybody together. So that's why I say, for Juneteenth, just give us an alcohol sponsor. There's something like Hennessy, Colt 45, Crown Royal, an alcohol sponsor. Let them get behind Juneteenth, and then everybody will enjoy it, just like they enjoy the other ethnic holidays. And I say get rid of all of the months. Women's Month. No, we do not need Women's Month. Why? Because men do not appreciate women any more on March 31st than they did on March 1st. Why? Because they don't care. Okay? You give them one day, a drinking holiday, and that should be what? The day before March Madness starts. Because for the next 2 weeks, the women are going to be forgotten by the men anyway. That gives them 2 weeks to get their shit and sneak out the house. He won't even know she's gone. She's free. They won't even miss her. And you give an alcohol sponsor like sangria, margaritas, anything but cosmopolitan. Get rid of, June is Gay Pride Month. We don't need Gay Pride Month, okay? We just need one day for people to drink together, because that's how you get to know people, okay? This country is full of racists and homophobes and just people who just hate people for no damn good reason. But you know who everybody loves? Their drinking buddies. Everybody loves their drinking buddies. And you know how I know that? In the 80s, I used to work with a humongous racist named John Roble. Humongous racist. We worked in retail. We were commissioned salespeople. And he would not wait on black people. And we were commissioned salespeople. He would see a black couple and he goes, tell me, you go wait on them. They don't have any money. I'd wait on them. And they had money. And they'd buy a washer and dryer. And I'd have a commission check too. Fine. And he and I we sat down and we broke bread together. We broke beer. So we got drunk. And I offered to pick up the check. And he was like, you have money? We work together. I have a job. I have the same job he has. And he thought because I was black, I didn't have any money. So, because we drank together, he liked me, even though he didn't know me. But once he realized that I had money, maybe other black people have money. And he started waiting on black people. That's what alcohol can do. The power of alcohol. You get to know people when they're their most, I don't want to say vulnerable, but when they're their most honest, that's when you get to know them. So we don't need Gay Pride Month. We just need one day where people can drink with their gay friends. Okay? Because those of us who just love people for who they are, we don't need a month. We don't need a week. We already love you. It's the people who are hating that we're trying to win over so they can stop the hate. And that's how we do it. We give them a drinking holiday, and let's say the first day of spring, because that's when it's fun. And give them an alcohol sponsor. According to the internet, it's IPAs. They love beer, IPAs. I prefer anal. I can't remember the stands for. But the thing is, you don't have to go right back to this, because there are a lot of people who, quote, experimented in college, and they always say they were drunk, okay? Yeah. Here's the deal. We get rid of all of those things. We just get alcohol to sponsor days for groups. If there's a group out there, we give them a day, and we give them their drink. So this Juneteenth, if you don't have a black friend, make a black friend. Find one who has money and go to a bar, have drinks with them, enjoy their company, learn all about them under alcohol, because you want to know the truth about someone, drink with them. That's how I found out I was an accident. My mom told me, over drinks. That's how you get the truth about people. You have drinks with them because they love their drinking buddy. Juneteenth, we all get together. We can put our cars in the Rosa Park and ride. Walk over to the bar, get drunk together, share stories, love each other, and at the end of the night, get our designated drivers to take us home. And those are the Muslims, because they don't drink. So, they'll be the only sober people. They can take us home, and we can trust them, because they want to get home safely too. It's like, yeah, I'm so glad you had a nice day. Oh, cat runs in front of them. I'm gonna slam my brakes on. Okay. So that's why we get rid of all of the drinking, all the months, and just get drinking holidays. And that's my social commentary for the evening. Part one. But Now, going back to St. Patrick's Day. I'm not Irish, but I like St. Patrick's Day because it validates something in my life. When I was a kid, my sister used to always call me the second accident. My sister was the firstborn, and then there was my brother Ralph, he was the secondborn, and those were special. She was special because she was the first, he was special because he was the first boy. Me and Brian, we weren't so special, we were like, oops. So they say. But this is what I learned. If you go from the days we were born, and you take the gestation period of a human baby, 280 days, my sister was conceived on St. Patrick's Day. My parents were drunk. You take my birthday, and you go back 280 days, I was conceived on St. Valentine's Day, lover's holiday. Now, the simple mathematics say you have alcohol, a young couple, and their first baby, that says accident. Now, they're both conceived in July in Baltimore without central air conditioning. I know. You know what my mother was going through. It's like, get off me, Ernest, it's hot. Ernest, come on, Ernest, get off me, it's hot. All right, make it quick. Quicker. Now me. Valentine's Day. Now I have to admit, my parents were separated at the time because my father had a disease, dyslexia. He had a penis that just could not identify which hole it should go in. And so quite often my father had wound up in the wrong person. It was a disease. And my parents would fight over this, until eventually my mother left my father, but Valentine's Day. Who is it? Hey Elaine, it's me, Ernest. What you want? Hey girl, Valentine's Day. And? Oh, come on, don't be like that. I brought you some chocolate, candy, and some magnolias. You probably stole them. Me? Steal magnolias? People who don't know me wonder why I don't have children. People who do know me know better than to ask. And the reason I do not have children of my own is because I'm lactose intolerant. Because children do not come with a manual. No matter how many children you have, if you have one child, if you have 5 children, it doesn't matter. Each child is going to be a little bit different, and they just don't fit in that mold. There's no manual for it. And me, I know I'm going to mess something up. I'm going to screw it up. And if one of my kids goes missing, their face could be on every milk carton across the country, and I wouldn't know because I'm lactose intolerant. The other reason why I do not have kids is because of my parents. They cursed me. They said, "We hope you have a child just like you." I know what kind of child I was. I remember, I was there. And it wasn't my fault that I was like that. My parents were liars. Okay, I didn't know if I could trust them. They lied about everything that mattered to me. Everything that mattered to a child was a lie. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Sandman, the little farm up north where the cats and dogs go to be happy. My face would freeze if I didn't stop. All the things that were important to me as a young child, my parents lied to me about. So how can I trust them? I mean, it's not like now kids have Google and Siri and Alexa. Do you know that thing that I'm old, I don't care. I don't have things in the house that talk to me and I don't see their lips move. I have a wife and that's good enough for me. I don't, wife and 2 cats. I don't need a thing talking to me. But kids have that advantage today. They have Google. I didn't have that. I had encyclopedias. big, thick books that we kept in the basement because they were too big to put anywhere else in the house. And so if I had a question, I had to ask my mother or, Mom, what's sex? Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah? All right. Be right back. Going down the basement to check. Okay. Got it. Follow-up question, Mom. What's a prostitute? Ask my father. Okay. Hey, Dad, what's a prostitute? I'm not touching that one. What did your mother say? She says, now you don't want to touch him. So that's why I don't have any kids. Now, March 7th, 2019, I think it is now, I had surgery on my leg. I had my knee replaced. Because I'd had an accident at work, and for like 3 years I was in pain. I was in agony for 3 years. I had no cartilage in my knee. It was a work-related accident, but because of Liberty Mutual disdain for their Liberty Mutual disdain for their customers, they wouldn't let me get any treatment. They kept denying it. They kept denying my claim. So for 3 years, I'm in agony. I have no cartilage in my knee, and I'm walking around and working and doing all these things without cartilage in my knee, and I'm in pain all the time. It got so bad that I really wanted to replace the knee myself. You know, and I would have, except for, do you have any idea how hard it is to find replacement parts for a 1959 black man? Domestic? Not foreign, domestic. It's impossible. But eventually got it done. And on the day of my surgery, my wife and I were in the waiting room. And the receptionist says, Mr. Fenderson, do you have a living will? And I said, well, I filled out a MOLST form, M-O-L-S-T. That stands for Medical Orders Life-Sustaining Treatment, in case you didn't know. Now, what that is, it's every state has one, but it's a little bit different. In Maryland, it has 10 questions on it. And basically what it is each question is a treatment, and you have to say yes or no, do you want them to do that treatment to save your life in case of emergency, something goes wrong. The first question is CPR, yay or nay? Well, yay. Next question, it doesn't matter. It's yes. If it's a life-sustaining treatment, if it can save my life, yes, do it. I don't care what it is. I don't care. If it can save me, do it, okay? If it's sound medical treatment, fine. If it's unsound medical treatment, fine, do it anyway. You know, if it's a long shot, great. If it's a shot put, I don't care. If it saves my life, do it. That's all I'm asking. Yes. And the receptionist says, well, that's not the same as a living will. A living will is instructions for your next of kin. So in the event that you cannot speak for yourself, they have permission, to speak for you. And I said, oh, I don't have one of those. And my wife says, yes, you do, but she walks out of their waiting room. And I don't know if she understood the question or not, but she goes, yes, you do, and walked out. And I'm like, I didn't fill out one of those. I did not fill out a form. So and if she filled it out, I do not know that we have the same priorities. No, I'm saying, yes, everything you can do to save me, but I'm thinking, what was our last argument? And who won? Because this may be like the last word to that argument. I don't want to die just because we disagreed over what to name the cat. And I lost the argument and we named her Elsie. That shouldn't be a life-death situation naming a cat. I can see if we were arguing or fighting over dyslexia, and whether or not it's nature or nurture. Because my father had it, I have it too. I don't, but I'm just saying, if that were the argument, I could see arguing over nurture or nature for dyslexia. I could see that being life or death. Yeah. But a cat name, no. Nobody should die for pussy. Sorry. My wife and I were watching television. I can't remember if it was the ESPN Classic or ESPN Deportes. I can't remember, but it was basically just highlights. And she noticed that in these sports highlights, the men were always spitting. You know, spitting tobacco, spitting gum, spitting sunflower seeds, spitting water, spitting Gatorade, spitting spit. They were just always spitting. And Carol says to me, men do an awful lot of spitting. Men are always spitting. Women don't spit. Okay, it's not a secret. But she's not going to hear it from me. I learned a little while ago that I have spousophobia. I'm afraid of my wife. Now, I wasn't always afraid of my wife. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, I didn't even know I was afraid of my wife. I thought we were compromising. Because before we met, I used to brush my teeth with Aquafresh. Now we use Crest. Before we met, I used to wash my clothes in Tide. Now we use All. Before we met, I used to shave with Gillette Mach 3 razors. Now we use Lady Chic. Compromise. At least that's what I thought I was doing. I didn't know that we were afraid. I was afraid of her. Now, for people who've been in relationships for a very long time, that is my theory, is why they stayed together, why they're still together. Because to think about it, COVID happened and the pandemic happened. Our marriage is COVID tested, pandemic approved. Okay? When all these other couples were like dropping like flies because all of a sudden they have to talk to each other, it's like, holy shit, I have a relationship. It's like they're on a Titanic, they see the iceberg coming and they don't know what to do, so they abandon ship. My wife and I, we survive like all the other strong relationships because I have a healthy fear of her. We have enough love to bring us together, but enough fear that I'm not going to fuck it up. Which is why we can stay together. I have spousophobia, just a tad. No, and before we got together, I didn't really celebrate holidays. I didn't observe any holidays. But once we got together, we started to observe 2 holidays. And she told me what they were. We were to Valentine's Day and our anniversary. Those are the 2 holidays. And she told me, don't you fuck those days up for me. Okay, that's it. Those are the only 2 days I don't have to fuck up. I can fuck up the other 364 days a year, but those 2, I'm under pressure. And the problem is, I'm under so much pressure that it gives me mental pause. And for those 2 weeks, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't drink, I retain liquor, because I'm so scared that I'm going to screw those 2 days up. No. I'm going to tell you about one of our anniversaries, our 13th anniversary. The 13th Don't Fuck This Day Up For Me anniversary. Carol and I had planned this out to the T. We planned it out for months. Romantic dinner, followed by a play, The Book of Mormon. Those tickets were hard to get. And to get them during when you want them, like during your anniversary, oh God. And it was beautiful. Planned this whole thing out. And the tickets were reasonably priced, $200 a piece. So, this was right after I had the surgery for my knee. I had my knee replaced. I'm in the car with my wife. She's driving because I just had the surgery. We're on 695. I have a cold bottle of water on my knee because it feels good, and it's leaning against the car, vibrating. The vibration just makes it all feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh. And we're driving. She's driving. We're going along. And I hear her say, "What the fuck is she doing?" And I look, and there's a car coming towards us. It's coming straight toward my side. And I don't know why I did what I did. I don't know if it's because I played football for a lot of years, and I'm used to like hitting, hit them when they hit you. Or if it's because I've been watching a lot of Marvel movies, and for some reason I thought I was the Black Panther. But when the car came to the door, I ducked my shoulder down, and I went, "Wakanda forever!" The car went flying across the median. I just went flying across. And Carol is she's behind the wheel, and she's avoiding obstacles left and right. And she's gone, "Jesus fucking Christ! Jesus fucking Christ! Jesus fucking Christ!" And on the last Jesus fucking Christ, the car starts to go up like this. And I can feel the car lifting up. And I'm thinking, this could be bad. Or this could be like the rapture. But if you know your scripture, 2 Corinthians 2 furious, if a married couple dies in a car crash, they don't go to heaven because they're stuck together blaming each other. So the car is up on 2 wheels like this, and Carol is doing the best she can, and then everything slows down. And I look around, and there are cars coming down 695. They're going to kill us. I know what to do. I have a plan. I've prepared for this moment my entire life, and I'm going to reach for the steering wheel because I know what to do, and I freeze. Spassophobia. It kicked in right as I was reaching for the wheel because I seriously thought that if I grabbed the wheel from her, that she would be mad at me because I did not trust her to save our lives. And so I froze. And if you've ever been in a life-threatening situation where that 1/2 of a second, that fraction of a second just seems like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's what it was like. And during that time, I had an epiphany. I remembered that before Carol's father died, I promised him that I would take care of his daughter. I guess he should say which one. But I promised him I knew I was talking about Carol, and he assumed I was talking about Carol. So I couldn't let anything happen to her. And I was not going to die like that. I was not going to be in wherever the next place is with him on one side saying, "You promised you'd take care of my daughter. And you let her die because you were afraid of her?" And then have her in the other ear going, "What about our wedding vows? You said you'd take care of me. And what's this? You're just afraid? All of a sudden you're afraid of me? All of a sudden you're afraid of me and you let me die?" It's like, whoa. Not all of a sudden. I've always been afraid, I just didn't know it. So I reach over and I grab the wheel and I cut it, I get his back on there, and I'm like steering it like this. And get us off the side of the road, the car comes to a stop, and Carol looks at me and she goes, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." "You okay?" She goes, "Yeah." And then she said something that changed our marriage forever. She looked at me and she goes, "You saved my life." "You're right. I saved your life." "All right. Yeah." "What's it worth?" "Yeah. I got a get out of jail free card. Can I be friends with Billy again?" That's pushing it. I know it's pushing it. So I get on the phone. I have 911 on the phone. And they say to me, I'm telling them what's happening. And I said, I said, "No, we don't need an ambulance." And they said, "Well, don't get out the car." Boom. There's Carol. And I'm looking, I gotta go. Like, fuck. Carol is going after the other driver. Now I have to do something. I have to save a life. But now I can't get out the car. My leg is stuck. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. My leg is stuck. And I just knew my leg was broken again. I just knew I just got it fixed and it's already broken. Well, at least it's under warranty. So I put my seat back and I scoot out the back of the car and I hobble over and this is what I hear. Carol is in the woman's face. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck were you thinking? You're ruining my anniversary. We got tickets for a show. Those tickets were $400. You could have hurt my husband. In that order. And if I hadn't shown up, she may not have even thought about me. I don't know. That was the order it went in. Fuck up the anniversary. Husband last. The police show up. And one comes to our car, one goes to the other car. And the cop that comes to me, he has his pen out, and I'm talking to him, and I said, look, first thing I say to him is, we're okay. We don't need an ambulance. My wife is fine, I'm fine. I said, today's our anniversary, and we have tickets to go to a show, and a dinner and a show. We have to get there. And I looked at him and I said, I didn't fuck this up. You write that down. And I said, and he looked at me, and there's water all over the front of my pants. And he looks at me, and I said, this is not pee. You write that down. And he says to me, that's too bad. Because if you pee your pants, that's an extra $1,000 from the insurance company. An extra $2,000 if you poop. Have any of y'all read your insurance policies with your cars? Did you see that in there anywhere? Any of the fine print that tells you if you piss your pants during an accident, they'll give you another $1,000? Do you know how easy it is to piss your pants in a car accident? But they don't tell you because they don't want to give you $1,000? You don't even want to know what I do in my pants for $3,000. So they try to help us find a ride, an Uber, to get there because our car is undrivable. So Carol and I are like both trying to get Uber on the phone, on our phones, because we don't have Uber. We're trying to download the app, and we're both going. It's like a race. It's like a competition. And she wins. She goes, "There's an Uber, 150 to 200 feet away from us." Yes. The car that hit us is an Uber. The car that hit us is an Uber. And it still works. It still drives. Carol looks at me and she goes, we are not getting that fucking car. And the police officer says, and you shouldn't. So they go to take us to the theater, state troopers, but they can only put one of us in each car. So I'm in the front of one, Carol's in front of the other, because I guess they can't throw us in the back because it really looks bad. But they're taking us to the theater with the lights on and the sirens, because we only have like 10 minutes to get to the theater. And they're woo, and they're gone. And we get there. We get there, I'm gonna say the show starts I'm gonna say the doors open at 6, and it's like 10 minutes to 6. We have like 10 minutes to check in, roll call, whole lot of crap. And we get out the car. Everybody's looking for a VIP because you see two state troopers pull up with lights and sirens. That's got to be a celebrity in that car. Carol gets out, glasses crooked, hair's disheveled, clothes a little cockeyed. I get out, my hair is still gorgeous, but my clothes are messed up. I'm wet all in the front. And the usher looks at me, and I feel obligated to explain to him why we look like this. Because I know what they're thinking. Because I know what it looks like. It looks like we got caught in a bad traffic stop, and the police realized they made a mistake and said, you know something, our bad. How about tickets to a show? That's what it looks like. And so I explained to the usher, I said, look, we were in a car accident, and we didn't have a ride here, so the police brought us here. And he looks at my pants, and I know what he's thinking, and I said, no, this is not pee. The usher says to me, that's too bad. If you pee your pants in a car accident, you get $1,000, and $2,000 if you poop. Now, for the usher to know that means he was either in an accident or he knows what to look for in your insurance policy. He knew where to look, but he understood. So we go in, we miss dinner. We don't get our romantic dinner. That's gone. We get to the concession stands, like, closed. Oh, God. Sir, my wife and I were just in an accident. We haven't had dinner. This is our anniversary. You know, we just spent $400 for theater tickets. That's $400, you cheap fucks. What do you got to eat? 2 pretzels. 2 pretzels and 2 glasses of champagne on the house. That was our romantic anniversary dinner. Carol, being the lovely woman that she is, says, you can have my pretzel. So I had 2 pretzels and champagne. I wasn't looking at her. I know. She was like, no, I'm drinking my liquor. I need my liquor. We've been through it. Give me my liquor. You have the pretzel. And turns out she didn't want the pretzel because that would just soak up the alcohol. That's all. I thought it was care for me being hungry. Like, no, I want to be drunk right now. We've been through some shit. We had to take an Uber to go home. We live up in East Bumfuck. Our car was in Baltimore. I mean, the theater's in Baltimore. We live in East Bumfuck, the last black family on the right when you're leaving Maryland. I know you said, so $104 for the Uber. And that's not even counting tip. I tipped him by filling up his gas tank, and thank God it wasn't like yesterday, and this was a few years ago. So I filled up his gas tank as part of his tip. And we get home, and like all in all, I mean, we wrecked the car, but we're alive. And thanks to my quick thinking, I saved my wife's life. I still can't be friends with Billy. Baby steps. Now, on the ticket, on the flyers, it says G.D. Fenderson. I'm G.D. Fenderson on stage. And some of you may wonder what G.D. stands for. I was actually named after my aunt Dodie. No, the D doesn't stand for Dodie. Her name is Gwendolyn, and my name is Glenn DeWayne. I know, Glenn DeWayne, Gwendolyn. Apparently, my mother also had dyslexia, but I was named after my Aunt Dodie. And my Aunt Dodie and I were very close because I was her namesake. And when she and her and my mother were also very close. They were very, very close. And they used to throw parties all the time. Every weekend, they threw 3-day parties that started on Friday and ended at Sunday with breakfast. And then my aunt had a series of strokes that left her incapacitated. She was wheelchair bound. And my mother was her primary caretaker. And my Aunt Dodie, she couldn't move except for her arm. And the only thing she could say was, die, 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 die. And so you walk into a room, and my Aunt Dodie would say, die, 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 die. And my mother, in the very beginning, was frustrated. And she'd say, Dodie, I know you're in there, but I don't know what you're trying to say. Die, 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 die. So my mother began to interpret what she thinks my aunt is saying. You walk in the room, die, 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 die. That's right, Dodie. That's your nephew, Glenn. You know Glenn, right? Die, die, die. Yes, and that's his girlfriend, Kim. You remember Kim, right? Die, die, die. Yes, that's very good, Dodie. Very good. You remember them. That's very good. Well, after a while, my mother gets tired of just the little chit-chat. I come to visit. Die, die, die. That's right. That is Glenn and Kim. That's right. Die, 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 die. Aunt Dodie says you need a haircut, and she hopes that the two of you are using protection. Die, 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 die. And she's glad to see the two of you still together because we didn't think he'd be able to find a girlfriend. We all thought he was gay. Die, 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 die. Are you putting on weight? And my aunt gets worse and worse. And eventually, I prepare myself that there's going to be a call in the middle of the night, and it's going to be my mother calling me to let me know that my aunt has passed. So I'm sleeping, and the phone rings in the middle of the night, and I pick it up. I can see that the number on the caller ID is my aunt's house. I said, hello. Die, 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 die. Hello? Yeah, your Aunt Dodie called. She says you haven't been by the visit for a while. And when you come by, would you bring a cheesesteak sandwich for me, please? What? Aunt Dodie said that? Die, 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 die. And she also said she doesn't like the idea that you dropped out of college. Genius or no genius, you need an education. Die, 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 die. And she liked Annie better than Kim anyway. She didn't think Kim is good enough for you. She liked Annie. Annie had baby making curves, you know, those hips, those baby hips. Right. And at the time, my cat that I had, his name was Jean-Claude Van Damme Cat. And he walks in, and he looks at me and he goes, Mom, Jean-Claude just walked in, and he says he doesn't think that Aunt Dodie is saying those things. And he thinks you're using her as an excuse to say things to me that you wouldn't say to my face. Die, 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 die. Oh, that's bullshit. Aunt Dodie says that's bullshit, and what would you think that I would do that? Shut up, I'm not being mean to my mother. Well, you talk to her. Oh, yeah. Well, fuck you. You thought I was gay, too. So, I let my mother and my cat talk this out. I'm not gonna. Damn cat. Jean-Claude Van Damme Cat. A little while ago, I lost my job. All right. Technically, I didn't lose my job. I know where it is. Okay? It's in the warehouse. It's just outside of my supervisor's office on Sheriff Bennett Road over at Penguin Random House. That's where I left my job. It wasn't lost. I set my job there, and I went home thinking that I was going to come back to do my job the next day. That was the plan. It wasn't lost. I knew where it was. I came back the next day, and they said, we need your badge. You no longer work here. So what? I said, my job is no. You misunderstood us. See, it wasn't your job. It was our job. We were just letting you do it for a while. Now, we want someone who can do it, who doesn't break our equipment by running into doors. You gotta be shitting me. 2 doors and a wall. You're gonna let me go like that? Okay, I don't know how many of you have ever driven a forklift and worked in a warehouse, but after 2 months of driving on a forklift, you're going to want to hit shit. They should just be happy I wasn't aiming at people. God. Now, when I started working at Penguin Random House, they had over 1,000 people working in that warehouse, over 1,000. And living in Carroll County, knowing what the gun situation is, and knowing that Carroll, like I said, there's 1,000 people working there, statistically speaking, okay, even in Carroll County, if you have an emotional support animal, that animal bet you has a carry conceal permit. Now, so statistically speaking, Penguin Random House has at least one workplace shooter. They have to. Statistically speaking, they have to have one. You can't tell me there's over 1,000 people in there and nobody's a little bit crazy. And the thing is, I wanted to know who that person was. I don't want to wait to find out on Wednesday that everybody knew on Monday who Tuesday's shooter was going to be. I don't want to be watching TV and hearing people say things like, Yeah, well, I knew he was a little bit off because he made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Yeah, I knew he was a little bit off because put a knot in my stomach. I always knew he was a little off. He made me all wet down here. I love me some bad boys. So I wanted to find out who that person was going to be. So I started asking people. I said, excuse me, you just found out there's somebody in the building with a gun, workplace shooter. Who is it? And everybody would start telling you who they thought the person was going to be. And after a while, I got it narrowed down to 2 people. This is where I need your help. I need a man's name and a letter of the alphabet. So holler out a man's name. Anybody? Mike? Cool. And a letter of the alphabet. Q. Okay. Now, the reason why I asked that, because this is a true story, and I don't want to, since we're in Carroll County, to out the people. Now, I got to, like I said, work around different departments, and those 2 names kept popping up over and over again, Mike and Q, Mike and Q. Now, Q, oddly enough, that was not his real name, but he was Hindu, and nobody took the time to learn to pronounce his last name. So they just called him by his last initial, Q. That's it. But Mike, I got to work with him one day, and I said, Mike, you just found out there's a workplace shooter. Who is it? He says, me. Not me. No, Mike. Me. So I knew, and he knew. If there's somebody who's going to lose their shit, it's going to be him. So now I know what to. All I need now is a plan to save people's lives, because I know who the shooter's going to be. It's going to be Mike. He just told me. So I'm going to save everybody's lives if I can. So all I have to do is make sure Mike keeps his job, keep him happy. So one day Mike says to me, I'm feeling a little off today. I said, what's up, buddy? Want to talk about it? He goes, I don't know, I just don't feel right. He said, I slept through the night. I slept all through the night, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to tossing and turning with thoughts all going through my head. And last night, I just slept all through the night with one dream. I'm like, you want to tell me about it, buddy? He goes, I realize that you're the only friend I have in here. And it'd be a real shame if something happened to you. I said, but does something really have to happen to you, Mike? Me, I'm your friend. Other people, but me. He goes, I don't know, I just don't feel right. So we talked. I sat there and I listened to him. And I listened until he felt better. And that was good. He felt better. But what would I do if he didn't feel better? How far would I go? I was like, Mike, okay, so what do you need? What do you need from me, Mike? What do you need? Okay, fine. There you go. Faster? Okay, faster. Slower? Okay, slow. Make up your mind, faster or slow? Oh, got it. Fast, then slow. Fast, then slow. Okay, I got you. Okay, there we go. Okay. Just trying to keep you happy, Mike. Okay. And if he needed a ride to work so he'd be there on time, I'm going to do it. It's only an hour out of my way. I'll make sure he's keeping his job. And I'm going to wait by the guard's desk to make sure he comes in and he's happy. I'm waiting by the guard's desk for Mike. And he comes in. If he comes in and it's a hot day, but he's wearing a trench coat, Mike, isn't it a little bit warm for that trench coat, man? And that's a pretty big knife you got there. Sorry, machete. Why don't I carry that for you? You shouldn't have to carry the machete, your lunchbox, and your gun. So, AR-15. So here, give me that. What do you want? A trade? Okay. What do you want? Okay. We have to go in the men's room for that. Okay. So, yeah, we'd be in the men's room, and then somebody calls HR, and HR comes in and goes, excuse me, you 2 men can't be doing that in here. And I'll turn around and I'll say to HR, And the guard will come in and go, leave him alone. He's a goddamn hero. He's being shot in the face, the window gets shot in the back. We needed men like him in Vietnam. If we had more men like him in Vietnam, we would have won. As a matter of fact, if we had more men like him in Vietnam, I wouldn't have run off to Canada. So that's what would you do. That's what I would do to help Mike. I'd be a hero. I'd be like all over the newspapers, and companies all over the country would want to hire me to save their staff. Bill Gates would hire me because he wants me to help fix his Microsoft. And Jeff Bezos would want to hire me to polish his rocket. I could be an astronaut. I'd be a hero. But if it's Q, what if it's Q? What if Q is your shooter? Well, he's Hindu. I could save everybody's life. Everybody, get behind me. Everybody, behind me. We're going to get out of this alive. I'm going to get everybody out of here. Come on, everybody, come on, come on. Yeah. All right, this is what we're going to do. Everybody get on the ground. Everybody get on all fours. Everybody, come on. Now, we'll just crawl toward the door, okay? Single file. And if Q points his gun at us, you take your fingers and you put them on your head and you say, moo. See, he's Hindu and he won't shoot the cow. I have, according to that clock is about 5 minutes slow? 3
minutes fast.
That's what I said, 3 minutes fast? So, and you, Jack, how much time do you have on your camera? How long have I been like, we started early, never mind. That's no good. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to go too long, because you guys have been great. I just want to see what my alarm says, because I set it for 90 minutes. No, I didn't. I forgot to set it. All right. So I'm going to pretend that I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to get us out on these two things. When I'm not doing this kind of stuff, I like to find a place where I can be quiet, away from people, and just be myself. And in those times, I'm not a black man, I'm not Mensa, I'm not anything. I'm just me, and I'm at one with the universe. And then sometimes something happens to remind me that the world sees me as something totally different, and it brings me right back in. And this happened once in Florida. My wife and I were on the beach. We're holding hands, walking along the beach, and in front of us there's a bird hopping. A red bird with a little black mask and a tuft of red feathers on the back of the head, shaped like a triangle. Little orange beak, hopping along in front of us. And you hear a little girl say, "Dad, what kind of bird is that?" And with all the authority of a father, he says, "That's a canary bird." And I'm like, I turn around slowly and I said, "Please don't be black, please don't be black, please don't be black, please don't be," oh, fuck, he's black. We were the only two black families on the beach, and now everybody else is going to think that we're all that stupid. That was the first thing I thought. I said, "Wait a second, isn't your wife white?" "Well, yeah, but we've been together for 18 years, give or take a few drugs." And in that time, she has as much black in her as I have white in me. We've assimilated. Okay, she has a little more black in her, about 6 inches, but that's not the point. The thing is, we're on the beach, and I'm self-conscious, okay? Nobody else has pointed out that I was a black guy. I just feel self-conscious because another black guy is so stupid that he doesn't know what kind of bird that is. And I'm embarrassed for my entire race. So his other daughter goes, "Dad, I don't think that's a canary bird." And he goes, yes, it is. It's a canary bird. I don't know how a grown man could get to be that fucking old and not know what a cardinal is. Okay? They are the mascots for pro teams, college teams, high school teams, middle school teams, elementary school teams. Cardinals are all over the place. I don't think there's a person who doesn't have some kind of disability does not know what a cardinal is. He didn't. He thinks it's a canary. There are no sports teams of canaries for mascots. None. The closest thing I could come to was in Canada. They have a team called the Alouettes. And Alouette does not mean canary, it means little bird. And a little bird could be a hummingbird, a chickadee, a Canadian goose with a thyroid problem. But it's not a canary. There are no teams with canaries for mascots. Okay, well, maybe the miners, coal miners. But that's it. That's the only team that would have a canary for a mascot. So, one of the places I go to, also there's a lake that has ducks and a bench, and I like to go there to be at one with the universe also. And I'm on my way there, and there's a kid sitting in my spot feeding my ducks, ruining my universe, but he's there. But I'm okay. I'm fine. Zen. I walk over to the kid and I go, hi. And the kid laughed at me. And he pointed at the ducks and he says, quoi? And his father comes over and he goes, I'm sorry, that's my son Tobias. We're from Germany. He does not speak any English. Okay, he doesn't speak any English. And I only speak a little German. I know Achtung, I know Schnell, and I know Hogan! And I know nothing. That's all the German I know. But he laughed at me and said, quoi, when I said hi. Do you know what hi means in German? Shark. Shark. Don't you think shark is one of those words that should be the same in every language? You shouldn't have to guess what they're yelling if there's a shark nearby. And worse off, that little kid is probably thinking, okay, the other black guy didn't know what a canary was. He doesn't know what a duck is. What, black people only identify chicken? What's going on? So, I'm concerned because my wife was just overseas. She was in Europe. And one of my friends says, aren't you concerned that your wife is going to Europe by herself? I'm like, no. I said, don't you think she might cheat on you? No. And she does. That's her business. That's her vagina. She does what she wants with it. She's been taking care of it before she met me. She knows what's good for it. Don't take care of it. I said, I'm not worried. And besides that, if I have to worry about what my wife is doing in Europe, then I'm in the wrong relationship. My wife, and besides, she knows how to say no in several languages. She was in Austria, Hungary. Hungary was first. A guy hit on her, and she goes, nem. No. She's in Austria. A guy hit on her, she goes, nege. Yes, no thank you. And she's in Germany, and the guy hit on her. She says, 9. The guy goes, yeah, 9. So my wife and I are joking about it. And I was just joking. I said, yeah, well, you're in Europe. The experience which you're not going to experience at home. You're not getting 9 at home, so 9 over there. Fine, sure. Do you. You do you. You do you, girl. Have fun. And Carol says, I'll tell you what. When we come to Europe next year, if you meet an attractive woman who wants to sleep with you, and you want to sleep with her, if she has a 9-inch penis, knock yourself out. Fair is fair, right? No. But I don't want to worry. I didn't have to worry about her being in the water in Germany, and she's going, playing in the water. And some guy walks by and goes, hi! And Carol goes, hi! He goes, no, hi! She goes, hi! 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 Hey! Hey! Hi! Snell! 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 He thinks my name is Snell. Dun-dun. Thank you very much. I'm G.D. Fenderson. I'm sorry?
How long have you been doing stand-up for?
7 years.
Wow.
Actually, Carol got me started. Yeah, we were living in Florida. We moved there because she had an opportunity to become annoyed with another government. And so she took the opportunity to move to Florida to do that. And she realized that when I moved to Florida, I wasn't going to have any friends. And me being the closed-in person, I'm not going to make any friends easily. I'm not talking to people or anything like that. So she signed me up for a comedy class, a comedy workshop. That, and she got tired of me knocking on the shower door saying, honey, is this funny? Is this funny? No, I just wrote this today. Listen. So she signed me up for a comedy workshop. So she got me involved in it. I've been doing it ever since. Thank you. So, if there's nothing else, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Jack. Ian. Sophie. Thank you.
Look out for Psycomedy 201. Shoulda, coulda, woulda told that joke. If you enjoyed this, please check out these shows by G.D. Fenderson. My Parents Meant Well, The Comedian's Cut, and The Disillusionists. Both may be viewed on YouTube at no charge to you while supplies last. Go to www.sogdfunny.com, click on Order DVD.